Hello, I'm back with the Job Seeker series. In the previous part of CV writing, I discussed how to write a good CV, and today I'm going to discuss about interviewing skills. So interviewing skills are also an important part of the job seeking or job hunting strategies, because once you've posted your CV, most likely you're going to be called for an interview. So you need to know what sort of things you should be doing while going for an interview. So the agenda today is I will be discussing what is an interview, what you should be doing before, during and after an interview, the do's and don'ts of an interview, the common questions asked by interviewers, by interviewees, and I will finish my video by highlighting some questions. So firstly, what is an interview? We all know that interview is a sort of conversation between two people. It's a sort of an opportunity to share information with the other party, and you should be asking questions as well as they will be asking questions to you. Offer your own. It's your only chance because it's sort of a first impression. So I would say that your first impression should be a very good first impression. You should be properly dressed, you should have all the documents and everything. It's not just a meeting, it is also sort of an interaction with the other party, and it is not the end of life. If you're not selected after the interview, you should not be discouraged. You should apply for more jobs. Before the interview, before you apply for a job, you should do your homework. You should study where you have applied in terms of company, their background, what they do, what are their objectives, what are their missions, what are their goals, what do they make, how they operate. So you should set your record right. Know the company background, all relevant information and future projections through friends, company websites and other sources. Be alert to for sort of changes, takeovers and other information facts. Like let's suppose if a company you applied in has been acquired by another company, so you should be knowing that information. So prepare yourself with interview related information, company name and address, obviously because you will be going to the company for an interview, location, any landmarks which are near, person who will meet you. Normally because this movie is in the Pakistani context, and I've appeared in many interviews, whenever I go for an interview, there is a person who has contacted me to set up the interview, and I will be meeting that person only, and then he will guide me to the interviewing panel or whatsoever. His or her designation, who has called you, and obviously the office details. You can also collect information about telephone and email. Leave with time on hand to spare, so that there is no chance of your being late. This is the most important. Most of the time the interviewers are late. Let's suppose they've been called for an interview at 11 a.m. so they arrive at like 11:15, 11:20, even 11:30. So this is not the right perception. You should be there well before time, maybe 10-15 minutes earlier. Prepare yourself to feel stress-free. Every time whenever I go for an interview, I am always stressed, because you never know what sort of people you are going to be interacting with. So be as minimally stressed as possible. Time is one of the factors. If you are there early, that is good. You can sort of blend into the environment. And second thing is, be prepared. So I'm going to just discuss how you want to prepare, how you should be preparing actually. Know what your most spontaneous answers are. The results of careful preparation and practice. So practice, think of 20 questions which you are expecting to be asked in an interview, and prepare them very well. and prepare them very confidently. One of my tricks of sort of preparing for an interview is that I stand in front of the mirror and I practice the questions myself. Next thing is organize yourself. Think of things you will need. Let's suppose address and phone numbers, copy of your resume, other documents if the company has asked for sort of documents, passport size photographs, and any other things which you think are required during the interview. Most of the organizations, they ask for original documents. You can take your original documents with you. Create a good first impression. Number one is be there in time. Don't plan to be there on time but in time. The difference between these two is on time means that you plan to be there on the dot, and it's just like, just in time. So plan to be there well in time with time to spare. Like I said, 15-20 minutes earlier. Put your mobile phone on silent or switch off. Normally whenever I go, I switch off my mobile because even if it's silent, it vibrates and it can break the concentration which you are putting in. Smile as you walk through the door. Smile naturally when you answer questions, because if you are smiling, this gives a positive image and it gives you confidence. Be confident without being overbearing or overconfident. Once you are well prepared, it doesn't help to worry. Prospective employers look for confident people to work for their organizations. You don't need to be overconfident, you just need to be confident. Posture and body language. Now, posture and body language is very important. The reason is that if you are not very spontaneous, or you're sort of leaning forward or leaning very backward, it can mean different things. Accessories, in terms of accessories, you should be either it should be simple, elegant. Footwear, you should take a bag with you. If you decide to use perfume or cologne, wear a light fragrance. Make sure you don't smell unpleasant. Most of the time, I've been to many interviews. Most of the time, if you go for a call center interview, they don't really care how well you are suited and how how well you're dressed. As you are dressed properly, that's fine. But if you're going for a professional interview, I would recommend that wear a good suit, shoes should be polished, and you should be wearing a good cologne. Light musky fragrance would be okay. Dress appropriately. Your attire should reflect the job you are seeking, as well as the personality you are trying to project it. Don't wear jewelry that is very unattractive and it is unnecessary, because you're not there for a fashion shoot or a fashion show. You're there to sell yourself. During the interview, wait to be asked to sit and where to sit. If the interview says sit here, you can sit there. Don't assume that you will be sitting there. When you do sit, do so with a good posture and grace, not slouching or with nervousness. If you are nervous, you will not be good at the interview. It has happened to me a lot of times. I've been nervous and it didn't go well. Maintain an appropriate physical distance from the other people present in the room. You should not be sitting just right next to them. You can feel in the environment that what sort of physical distance is required. Maintain an appropriate gesture. Offer a handshake to the interview. Obviously, we are in Pakistan, so if the interviewer is a female, obviously we will not offer a handshake, but a Assalamu alaikum would be, or good morning would be suffice. Do not fidget with your mobile. Make sure that your mobile is turned off and in your pocket. Don't play with it, because it gives a very negative impression that you're not interested in the job. Be concise in what you say. When you are asked a question, clear and honest answer are expected of you. Make sure that you are clear on what you say. Be honest. Honesty pays and it shows. Be prepared with examples to back up what you say. Let's suppose if they ask any technical question or any experience, you should have some thoughts about that particular experience or recollection. Keep your guard up. Through sometimes in our effort to be honest, we say too much. So say things that might work against. Be both honest and wise. Limited information providing is required here. You should not be providing too much information. I know that once I applied for a visa, and we were there. I was there with my family, and there was another young guy who applied for a visa as well. He was providing too much information, and on the basis of that information, which was not relevant to that particular case, they did not grant him visa. So you need to, a similar sort of rule applies here, that you should provide relevant and to the point information. Preparation, the best source for preparation is friends or family. You should ask them to conduct a mock interview. You can record that interview and you can see which mistakes you have done. I will share some do's and don'ts with you. Don't smoke, chew gum, eat or drink. Do keep a glass of water. Always carry a bottle of water with you in case you need to wet your mouth. Smile, like I said, smiling will project a positive image to the listener. Speak slowly and enunciate slowly. Speak clearly, slowly, and not too fast. Use the person's title, Mr. or Miss or Mrs., and their last name only. The first name if they ask you to. So let's suppose if my name is Mr. Saad Babar, so you should be referring to me as Mr. Babar. If they ask that call me Saad, you can call me Saad. Don't interrupt the interviewer. This is most important. You should listen to the question which the interviewer is going to ask you. Take your time. It's perfectly natural that you take some time and recollect your thoughts. Obviously, your answer will not be spontaneous. You will be thinking about your answer. And always give a short answer. Remember, your goal is to set up a face-to-face interview, not any other thing. Body language, what signals are you sending? This is very important. I will share with you some positive signals and some negative signals. In positive signals, if you are leaning forward, that means that you are interested in the job. If you're smiling, that's friendly. If you are nodding, then you are very attentive and alert. And eye contact, curious and focused. If you, these are the sort of positive signals which you are giving when in the interview in terms of body language. So now some negative signals are crossed arms. If you have crossed arms, that means that you are defensive. If you are fidgeting hands or tapping feet, you are obviously nervous or bored. Lack of eye contact is untrustworthy, and leaning back is discomfort. So these are some positive and negative signals. Some common questions which interviewers ask, and I think you should prepare for them very wisely. Number one question is, tell me about yourself. So you should tell about yourself, what were you doing previously. If you're a fresh graduate, then you should say that I did my degree in this field, and always highlight the projects which you have done, because the projects which you have done will always get you a good job. The next question is, what is your greatest strength or weakness? Never ever give a weakness. Always provide a strength. If you have to share your weakness with them, so share the weakness in a way that it looks like a strength. And the next question is, why did you choose to interview with us? You need to be very clear that why are you interviewing with them. Maybe it was your dream job, or maybe your friend worked there and you liked the environment, or maybe your parents or your family, friends, or any other were working there. So you need to be very clear that why did you choose to interview with that particular company. What did you like most about your last job, or least? So it is just like, what were your strengths in your previous job and what were your weakness in your previous job. So never highlight your weakness. What are your short and long term goals? This is the most common question which I've come across many interviews. So a short term goal is like a year or 2-year plan, what you intend to achieve in that particular organization, and five-year goal, that what you want to achieve in the 5 year ahead of you. Questions which you can ask to the interview: what type of assignments can I expect within the first year? That is a very good question. You can ask what sort of responsibilities I will be doing, what duties, and how will I be interacting with the employees. What do you like most about the company? That is also important. What is the biggest challenge facing the department right now? Maybe you are being hired for a very special cause or special assignment. So if you are able to ask about the problem which they are facing, you can provide a good solution to them based on your experience and skills, obviously. What skills are you looking for this particular position, and what is the next course of action? Other questions may include what sort of salary are you offering, or what sort of benefits you are offering. This can also be asked. In Pakistan, I've never heard that people follow up after an interview. Frankly speaking, I've never done that as well. But this is very important. It gives a very good impression that you were interested in the job, and you, if you are considered in the future, they will also call you. So ask good questions. Take the interviewer's card or business card you can request, or inquire about next step in the process, because the hiring process is very complex. You can also send a thank you note within the 24 hours. You can either post a letter, write an email, or type a handwritten note and leave it at the desk. But make sure that you tailor each one to the individual. A thank you note which is made for like 10 different people will not, similar one will not work. You have to tailor the thank you note for each individual. And that's all. I hope to see you in the next part, which is the last part, which is all about job hunting strategies. So see you in the next video. Hit like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.